Yo ho ho, so today I'm going to do a review on Wytches Volume 1 by Scott Snyder and Jock. This story follows the Rooks family as they move to a new town after their daughter Sailor goes through a traumatic experience. But little do they know things are about to get a whole lot more traumatic as it is discovered that Sailor has been pledged to some ancient creatures that live out in the woods and they come for her. Now, I don't want to go too much into the plot because I feel like you need to go into it a bit blind for the element of surprise. This is an original twist on the witches genre. Witches have kind of gone out of popular culture over the past couple of years and they've been replaced with zombies and vampires and all that shit. I wouldn't mind seeing a return of witches to kind of reign supreme over all the other supernatural creatures that there are. I loved the pacing of this. It gets going from the first page, and like if you're a horror fan like myself, a lot of the time when it comes to reading horror books, there's a lot of world building, there's a lot of character development, and it's like the last 20 pages that things start getting moving and start getting good. But with this was able to incorporate those three things and do them all at once. Each of the characters have their own problems. So the dad, Charlie, is a recovering alcoholic. The mum, Lucy, is bound to a wheelchair after a car accident. And Sailor herself is absolutely riddled with anxiety due to bullying and just being a nervous child. And I really like that there was a character with anxiety thrown in there, just because it feels like everyone I talk to these days has some anxiety disorder or another. They all have their own problems that they need to overcome or at least deal with, as well as the supernatural problems with Sailor going missing and just hell breaking loose, basically. I thought the townsfolk were quite creepy. I liked that whole aspect of the storyline. I liked the story of the witches themselves because it's not the typical women in pointy hats witches. It's something that looks like they just stepped out of a swamp or out of a cave, something really ancient and bears no resemblance to a human. How the whole pledging system works, because you have to pledge someone to the witches. You pledge someone, you get a wish. It's quite a dark thing. People are pledging friends, family. It's a bit twisted in that sense. There's also quite a bit of vulgarity in this and an attempted sexual assault. Vulgarity doesn't bother me at all, but I know there are some people who do want to know if there's anything like that. And so there is, but I feel like it just makes the characters a whole lot more relatable, because if they were like, oh golly, oh gosh kind of thing, they wouldn't be as relatable as they are. And in the situation that they're in, they need to, you know. I guess we'll talk about the artwork for a bit. Initially when I got the trade, I was flipping through it and was thinking that I was going to be really irritated by the artwork. There is this paint splattered layered effect that gets more intense as the issues progress. I was looking through it and looking at that and being like, I'm going to be really irritated by that, that's going to be really distracting. And it was a little bit distracting, but it definitely does add to the whole kind of creepy vibe, and it is quite beautiful in places, especially with the colour palette. At times it can look quite cosmic and otherworldly, which I assume is the reason why it's there in the first place. There is a little bit in the back of this. Jock explains the artwork process and what he did to kind of achieve that effect. So horror wise, I didn't find it particularly scary. The artwork in places is quite bloody and gory, but that really doesn't affect me at all. I read it at night. It didn't give me any bad dreams. It didn't keep me up at night. So I would say if you're someone who's maybe a bit squeamish, just to give it a go. I've never found any comic that I've read in the horror genre particularly horrifying. Is it creepy in places? Yeah, but it's not horrifying. It's not about it whether it can scare me or not that I base whether a comic is good or not, but it's just the whole vibe of it, the whole completed package, and I really enjoyed this. I gave it 4 stars. This is the highest rated comic that I've read this year. This is definitely a good read to pick up with it coming up to Halloween, so if you want to check it out, if you want something kind of creepy to read, I definitely recommend this. This is my first graphic novel review on here, so I hope it's kind of, you can bear with me because I don't really know the format of how to review something that's more visual. So that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video and I will talk to you soon. Goodbye.